Hey, how y'all doing? Welcome to another video. And I should be saying, kind of like what I say to our clients, not how y'all doing, but what are y'all doing? What is it you are doing, right? This is by far the most important question because it's action that moves us forward, of course, right? And long before the most famous entrepreneur ever coined this phrase, or so to speak, made it famous, day one, Jeff Bezos, I think, is the one who really got that out there the best. It's always day one, right? At Amazon, it's always day one. Well, long before that, that was our mantra, right? And day one is crucial for success. Day one meaning the thinking in business that startups, and especially startups on day one, have the most energy, the most creativity, and the most movement, the most traction, because they have the most action. Keys in business, really there's three biggies. It's deep thinking. You gotta have deep thinking every day, right? And it's also just very serious effort on your product. I'm going to say this over and over. Most of your effort, energy, money, everything should go into making a product that gets your clients results from point A to B, right? Complexity to simplicity, difficulty to ease. Key, right? And then really, if you're not having conversations, then really everything's for naught. So notice I'm not putting any serious emphasis on sales here because it's sort of part and parcel. You build a great product, people are going to come, right? You do deep thinking on your whole purpose in business and your product, it's only going to lead to that end. But conversations, and that's what I wanted to focus on today, you gotta have conversations. They kind of flow through everything, right? They flow through product development, customer care and support, right? And they kind of help flourish good deep thinking sessions where you can come up with real creativity, okay? And on day one, you notice you have the best conversations, but you also have the most conversations. You're out there pounding the pavement. You're out there reaching as far as you can to have as many conversations as possible. I mean, Bezos is famous. He's famous for talking about, it's always day one at Amazon because day two, you get lethargic. I think he said there's a stasis that happens, basically a downgrading, a slowly dying off of energy. And then there's death, as he says, and we don't want that. So really, day one, right? Day one, you can go back to day one and you can look at all the things you were doing and say, let's get back to that, right? But conversations should be the primary one, right? Because conversations are in everything. But let's just talk about conversations regarding new clients, okay? If you're not having new conversations every day, new people, new relationships, if you're not doing that, you're dying. Your company is dying. It's like food. Conversations, they're like food, And I've known people, they'll go days, if not weeks, without a conversation with a new relationship. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? You don't have conversation. And that's what I say to our clients that are not in that mode of actively pursuing conversations. What are you doing? You gotta have conversations. And I don't know if you can hear that. Our dog is going off here. He's having a conversation. One of my children must be leaving the property and he goes nuts when that happens. Anyway, conversations, okay? It's key. It's key. So what I would say is number one, Number one is figure out how you can multiply the conversations you're having. Double it, triple it, quadruple it. Just bring that number way up. Bring that number way up because you want more and more conversations. Okay? In any form, that could be, if you're still at cold outreach, that's fine. Those come at a disadvantage because, of course, you're reaching out, right? But they still can be had, right? Conversations, and I'm not talking about email conversations. I'm talking about, a back and forth live, right? And I think that basically so sorry for that break. I had to say something to my son. Conversations can come, cold. There's a disadvantage there, but by all means pursue them if that's where you're at right now. Organic, Facebook, LinkedIn, however you're doing organic, could be YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is. Get conversations in your queue, in your calendar, right? We use Calendly. We fill those Calendlys up. It means you're talking to somebody, right? And that's what you want. Next, you got to look at what does the conversation comprise? How is it laid out? You need to have control on that conversation. It needs to be natural, but you need to have control from the get-go. You got to be in control of that call. And if you get anybody that gives you pushback on that, if you get anybody that really wants to take control of the call, we can show you there's ways to professionally handle that. And our best method, though, on these calls is first and foremost, build a little rapport in the beginning. Very short, though. Just keep it short and sweet. Build that rapport and find something in common if you can. Remember, you may be just speaking with somebody who's going to become a friend or just somebody to bounce things off in the future, back and forth, the two of you. It's not necessarily going to be a client. These are other people, right? Just have a conversation. But you got to have some structure here because remember, they're hopefully coming to you, not you to them, but either way, you're the one that has the solution, right, to help them. That's the idea behind this. Otherwise, they're selling you, and maybe that's a good thing. It depends on who you're talking to, right? But the thing is start off with the rapport, building a bit, and then immediately and rather quickly go into what the call is going to comprise of. Lay out the structure of the call right then and there. We do 45-minute calls, and there's not a lot of time. 45 minutes, it rips through. So you've got to keep things, moving. And right after you give them, okay, here's what we're going to do. Get their verbal yeses, get the thing positive, get them used to saying yes. Just to keep it positive, and just ask them, is that okay? Does that sound good? But the thing about the call is that this is first and foremost an assessment of their business and where they're at, and if they're at a point in time where you can really get them from A to B. If it's not, you got to be brutally honest. You got to say, no, I don't think this is the right point in time, or I think you need, let me point you in another direction, right? And that's really key to being a good consultant, because you do not want to lead them astray and you do not want to promise anything if you have doubts. And a lot of times, at least for us, those doubts are not within our ability, but within what we see in them, or within our ability to change what we see negative in them. And sometimes that's difficult to point out to somebody. It's often difficult. But the thing is that you gotta begin with asking them things, an assessment about their business, and get those answers back from them. Don't let them be too lengthy. Just you want to be on point with finding out what you need to know. Remember though, at least for us, this is not a coaching call, a consulting call. This is to find out if we have a future together with them at this point in time or in the future. That's what this is about. It is not about really diving into, real coaching, okay? Because that takes a lot more time and it's expensive too. So, your time is valuable. So, all right. What else have we got? That is how it flows. Now, you can give them a little bit of advice towards the end. At least that's what we do. Point them in the right direction. If they're not a fit, definitely point them in a direction that will help them. But also make sure you spell it out for them. Don't water it down. Let them know the hard truth, like the personal issues in their life that are coming out, maybe past business issues, things like that. If those are red flags for you, let them know, and you can let them down easily, but you want to make sure you give them that because that's what's good for them. It's not good for you just let them keep, walk off, leave the call in dreamland thinking that you're the one that's got issues. No. You want to, that's the step, because maybe they will become a client down the road if they can just work out some of their issues, right? And that's happened for us. So, what else? Yeah, this is where we get to the point that they are a fit and you would like them as a client, but you don't need them. That's the key. You shouldn't need them. Even if you're just starting, okay? And I understand, you're just starting, you want cash flow positive, you want things to start moving in the right direction. That desperation is going to hurt you and them. Don't go there, okay? Our saying has always been, some will, some won't, who cares who's next? Some will, some won't, who cares who's next? Right? That's how it works, right? That's the nature of this business. Even when we're selling test prep, sometimes we're selling to a single high school. I mean, our company still is working, but I'm not as in that on a day-to-day basis. But whether it was a single high school, a district of 50 high schools, or a state sale, those, yeah, you had a little more like, oh, let's get this. But really, in the end, what worked out the best long-term relationships, we've got clients that are 20 years with us, okay? And it started with a relationship that was at ease. Conversations, again, they're always high-ticket sales. The cheapest thing we got in the test prep world, in that niche, let's see, 7,000, that's the cheapest, and that's an annual subscription with that one. We've sold 5,000 of those, some of them higher, but that's the lowest price point. We've done state sales where we had every high school in the state, South Dakota, Georgia. I mean, the thing is that the conversations were just natural, and it was about helping them see that we could get them from point A to point B, or maybe we couldn't. There were schools and districts like that where we're like, look, you got to fix this before we can get to that. The reason your ACT score average across every high school is subpar is because you got to fix that first. So it was just sometimes hard truths have to come out on the table, all right? But bottom line is, be at ease with the word no, not right now, things like that. You don't go pushing back on that. Don't pressure, okay? Maybe if you really think if you know you can help them, maybe say, why not? Why do you say no? But other than that, I would just let them go. You want commitment. You want someone that wants to be with you. And you don't want to force anything. Okay? we've been very successful just at, having a conversation and helping them see what we can do. And it wasn't always a fit. This is so important to just kind of be at ease. It's okay. There's going to be some will, some won't. Who cares? Who's next, right? So I hope this helped. This is the kind of thing we do with our coaching clients. We take them through all, the steps for this, and we help them become masters at it. And really, if that's something you'd like to look at, no pressure. As I just explained, this is the way the conversations go. We just, it has to be a fit for both of us. And so just, check us out. We're Triumph, has a lot of calls where, at the end, it's just, we part ways, and that's fine. We're not looking to close everybody. We can't, first of all. So, so tcasmm.com. It'll be in the link. You can schedule on our calendar there, and we'd love to talk to you. All right. Have a good night. God bless.